True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bills Talk Online, coming to you from Substation Studios in Buffalo, New York. My name is Mike Martinez. Along with me is
Spencer Tobin.
And the man behind the camera, Ralphie Diaz.
Yes, yes, sir. And Spencer, what do we have planned for tonight's topic?
Oh, we got some good stuff going on here. I mean, it's really tough to talk football in the offseason, especially when minicamp hasn't even started, but it is just around the corner. So, we're going to talk about the obvious, the thing you can't avoid, the elephant in the room, some more Deflategate. Yeah, that's what it sounds like when Brady deflates those balls. We're also going to hit down some of the, maybe some of the things we like to talk about as far as the Bills, how the lineup's going to look, who's going to be odd man out, whether it's running backs or wide receivers. You're always bringing in all those guys. You got to cut down a 53-man roster. We're going to be able to do that and trying to speculate who the Bills will have to cut, unfortunately. We're also going to touch on some EJ, who the Bills signed this week. Another fullback coming into town. The Terminator, John Connor, has joined the team. So we're going to have to get that in, too. And lastly, of course, we'll hit up on some of our out of your minds. Who's doing something crazy in the NFL this week?
Yeah, one of our fans' favorite segments out there.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, of course, we're going to touch on some fantasy football. We're going to roll that in this week because it's starting to get on everybody's minds. Everybody's addicted, just like me. So
I know who I'm picking.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's going to be the same guy I'm picking, hopefully.
Well, hopefully not. If we have the same team, we can't win.
No. Stalemate every week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start it off here. Let's talk about some Brady.
That guy.
That guy
Brady. I mean, it's amazing the extent the Patriots are willing to go to try to make this into a non-issue.
Mm-hmm.
Brady's obviously lawyered up, and they're ready to fight. That's what do you feel?
I feel like they should have just came clean right away, and it would have been a smaller deal. They said, "Hey, yeah, sure, we were. It's kind of a newer rule, we messed up. I will quit it. We won't do it in the future. We'll prove to you we're still a good team. We can still win championships without that." But the fact that they're dragging it out and just denying what's so obvious, it makes them look bad. And that's not something like a model franchise like the Patriots should be doing for the NFL. It looks bad for the team, looks bad for the players, the organization, the NFL as well. So I think that's why the NFL's coming down hard. They really want to make sure that they set an example because it's making the NFL look bad too.
I think at the end of the day, with everything that's going on, he does have an opportunity to get away with this, which is what's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Between the lawyers and the fact of, just little comments that are going back and forth, I wouldn't be surprised if he walked away, and it'll be a sad thing because that, in the end, is what's going to make the NFL look weak.
Mm-hmm.
It's proven the Patriots are cheaters between this instance and a few years ago when they were caught videotaping other teams and practices and during the games and stuff.
Absolutely.
They're just a dirty team, and it needs to come out. And Robert Kraft, I don't care if you're Roger Goodell's friend or not.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play by the rules.
Yeah.
What bothers me is the suspension not given to Belichick, and what was being said about he didn't know what was going on, but Sean Payton didn't know what was going on with the Saints, but he still got that year suspension.
That's a great point.
But here Belichick just got off scot-free once again.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something I wasn't unhappy about. I mean,
I'm sure his players aren't happy either. The captain's supposed to go down with the ship.
Yeah.
And he's not doing that. He's washing his hands. He's pilot, man. He's out there, and hey, I'm clean of this. But he's his time will come too. He's gonna slip out. Somebody's gonna blow him in. Probably when he lets somebody like McNally go or something.
Mm-hmm.
At that point,
Yeah, everything will come to an end, but it doesn't surprise me that Belichick has washed his hands with in this issue. He's never shown loyalty, to any player throughout the years. When he's done with you, he doesn't want to give you a contract. He doesn't want to give you more money. He sends you right on along your way.
That's true. But they still keep winning. So it's hard to argue with that at the same time. But yeah, he really has not had that loyalty with the team as far as if he's got any input on that, which I'm sure he does.
Yeah, they win because they cheat.
On the other end, I mean, to play devil's advocate, it's like they're trying to tie future, past scenarios to You got Feely saying something, but why weren't you saying something then? Like, maybe they weren't cheating, let's just say, or whatever the case is. Maybe they really were just doing it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were just doing a Spygate at that year. But it's like, how come nobody was coming up throughout these years? The Matt Castles and any other quarterback that has come and gone behind Brady.
I would
They should've-
speculate that one of the reasons AJ Feely is just coming out now about what he's witnessed about the balls being deflated, being deflated. Thank you. I'm guessing is probably he may have thought it was just an isolated incident and just didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, kind of an unwritten code, if you will, between players. But maybe it came to a point where, hey, enough is enough, and he said, it's out, the cat's out of the bag.
I think maybe it was unfair to me to bring up Feely because he's been an opponent and not a Patriot. So I'm just wondering about past Patriot players.
Mm-hmm.
They may have known about that, or maybe there wasn't nothing going on, And
I don't know.
just 1 year, just to play devil's advocate. Thought.
I agree. I understand exactly what you're saying. I do find it a little suspicious that I believe it's been since 2006. The Patriots have been the team least
Fumbles.
Fumbles. Excuse me, I can't even get that out right in the NFL, and it kind of goes hand in hand with being able to grip that ball a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't been brought up in this situation because there's no proof to that. Everything seems to be revolving around Brady, but it does kind of make you wonder how long this has actually been going on.
It's true. Well, I mean, guys have doctored the balls before, and that's why finally a rule was put into place, because you had some quarterbacks using the official ball, had some quarterbacks doctoring the balls, and then they just want to make it a level playing field. That's why they made the rule. However, Brady kept going.
Well, just to close it up, and the last point I want to make, football's no different than any other sport. You're going to try to get that little edge. In baseball, they use pine tar. In every other sport, you do what you got to do to try to get an edge, to try to get ahead, to try to get that little, extra something.
Yeah.
But when you're caught in any other sport, you pay the price.
You do.
These people need to stay quiet right now and pay the price for what they've done.
Mike, today we find out that Brady's going to go ahead and appeal. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think he'll get scot-free? Do you think he's going to get any suspensions at all, or is he going to have to do half the time?
I hope not. I'll lose a lot of faith in the system if he does get off with this scot-free. I mean, it's pretty evident that he did what he did.
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty obvious, but they just got to gather more evidence before they can fully get through with the 4-game suspension. I think it might get cut down to 2.
Yeah,
To 2 games.
I think we've deflated the heck out of that subject.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have next for us?
All right, let's hit up some Bills. That's what everybody's here for. We want to talk about our beloved Buffalo Bills, and we're going to hit into it by talking about the newest signing, the Terminator, John Connor, one of Rex's guys.
Yes.
You got any input about this gentleman?
I haven't done too much homework on him. I do know he's a very strong runner. I do know that Rex likes him a lot. He played with Rex from 2010 to 2012.
Yeah.
Got released, went over to the Bengals, back over to the Jets last year. I didn't really, as from a depth perspective, okay, maybe. I know we do have two fullbacks on the roster. So there's definitely somebody's not going to stay out of the 3 now. What do you think?
I think they're going to give him a shot. He's a Rex guy. That's why I brought him aboard. I mean, that's the guy who shows loyalty to his players, unlike Belichick, like we alluded to earlier. But he's going to give him a shot. I don't think we're going to carry 2 running backs. Rex said in an interview earlier this week that, hey, if we got to carry 2, we got to carry 2. But I just think there's too much talent elsewhere to carry. I think John Connor is not going to terminate Jerome Felton's position here.
No.
It's going to be Felton, and I think he's going to light it up for our running game.
And there's still Dorian Dickerson, number 42.
Dorian Dickerson, sure. He's got some work ahead of him, though, because they wouldn't have gone ahead and bring in a free agent like Felton and like Connor.
Yeah, just bringing it out there, putting it out there. Well, there's technically 3 fullbacks on the team right now.
And thanks, Ralph, because I remember there was 3. I just couldn't remember the gentleman's name. And yeah, and it's okay to keep 2 fullbacks on the roster, but you can't pay Connor starting fullback money.
No, and
if he's going to sit in. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's
Who's the better special teams between the 3?
That's a very, very good point. I think you got to be able to cover, kickoffs and punts and all. But I'm going to tell you right now, they really, really wanted Jerome Felton. I mean, there's other teams who wanted him. Felton came here. I think he's the heavy favorite to win this out. I think they're just bringing some healthy competition for everybody. Light a fire under each other's butts,
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. What do you got next for us?
Well, speaking of odd men out, we can touch on some other positions. I'm really excited to talk about wide receivers.
Okay.
All right, so we got a lot of receivers on the roster now.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who's the odd man out? Who do you think?
I think it's easier for me to say who's the men in right now.
Okay.
We definitely got Watkins, Woods. You got Percy Harvin.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Hogan.
Hogan's kind of.
I like him.
That's
He's
the one
reliable.
that's on. Yeah, he is. I don't want him to let him go.
I don't want him.
I don't want him
stay.
to be let go.
He's
But
good.
there's a lot of people saying that he is on the fence. I hope he's our fourth receiver.
Mm-hmm.
We got Marquise Goodwin.
Flash Goodwin.
Yeah, so he would stay before Hogan.
He'd have to make an impression to camp. I think he's the guy who's on the bubble more than Hogan,
Mhm.
which got Marcus Easley in there too. But his special teams might carry him through the to the regular season starting lineup. I don't know.
Well, from what I've been understanding is Rex Ryan has really grown fond of Marquise. So that carries a lot of weight. As you said, he is a loyal person. As for as good and reliable as Hogan is, he is more of a trade asset and expendable for that reason. Anything?
What about the 7th rounder, Desmond Lewis?
Desmond Lewis, he's
There you go.
definitely gonna have a spot on the team.
Think so?
I think so. I think they're calling him the steal of the draft. He was projected in the 4th round, fell to the 7th round, and he's fast. He's tall.
I think that pushes Hogan right out the door then.
Exactly, makes him more expendable. Maybe it's a trade bait, or just a roster casualty.
Okay, so it sounds like you're convinced Hogan's going to be gone. So let's do this. Who's your number one receiver starting day?
Sammy Watkins,
Very easy, very easy. Who's number 2?
Robert Woods,
Okay, and then your slot guy is going to be
Percy.
okay. So who's your 4th guy on the spread?
My 4th guy right now in the spread. It's honestly, I like Hogan. I'm partial to Hogan because I know what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But I see them keeping Marquise.
It's tough to
Definitely.
let him go because he's such a secret weapon. I mean, everybody knows how fast he is, but you never know when he steps on the field. He could just be, we could be on the 20-yard line working our way 80 yards to a TD, but he might already be on the 1-yard line catching that football because he's that fast. It's
Yeah.
almost like the old Tecmo Bowl games. He just aired out the flash, and he's going to catch it and go.
Yes.
So I think he's got to make the roster opening day. He's just too good at just that deep ball and getting open on that. He burns guys left and right.
Yeah.
I think he was underutilized last season by a lot. So I hope he returns to the playing he did 2 years ago when he was just just bombs away and Flash Goodwin was TDing it all day long.
Well, I think if they do decide to keep Hogan, I definitely see Bryant being signed to the practice squad, and maybe next year being
Develop him a
implemented.
little bit.
Yeah, develop him up and bring him onto the team.
I think it's a good idea. That's a good way to go. We got too much riding on this season to bring in any rookies at this point. As far as the talent we already possess at wide receiver.
Unless he just proves himself.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
then again, that goes back to, I think the key is, I think right here it's between Hogan and Goodwin.
Okay, so they're gonna fight it out in the mini camps and everything, and we'll see who the last man standing is there.
Yeah.
Let-
What I find a little bit as far as the odd man out. Did you have anything to say on receivers?
I'm just gonna bring in the running backs. I'm
That's
gonna talk about running backs.
That's
This is
where
what I
that's
do.
where I'm at right now.
I think we're on the same page.
Well, reading about the rumors of Fred Jackson being the odd man out in the running back core. I mean, man, I can't see that happening. But it's a reality.
Can see people saying that because of his age. And I don't think it's fair because Freddie is timeless. He's the oldest running back in the league, but you wouldn't know it. You would not know it. He plays too good. He's too reliable. I mean, the guy, I think he can still get a good bulk of the carries and really just mess up some defenses. He can still punish. He's still got some moves. He's still got enough speed that he's a valuable asset to the team, especially in the locker room. I can't see the Bills parting ways with this guy this year.
Well, then, if not him, who do you see as the odd man out as far as running backs go?
I think it's going to be hopefully not Boobie Dixon, but I think it would have to be Bryce Brown. Bryce Brown is just unfortunately he had a hard knock or a knock as being a fumbler, which he could still prove himself otherwise. But I think bringing in LaShawn McCoy, the expendable guy, is probably going to be Bryce Brown. And it doesn't make sense, I know, because he is kind of a more guy who can play finesse as well. And if McCoy gets hurt, we're going to need that. But Boobie Dixon, I mean, a fan favorite. And, man, could he just bust through a line, bust through a tackle, and get you those hard yards. How do you let that guy go?
I think that what makes Fred expendable. That's what you just said about Boobie Dixon. See, I think with LaShawn McCoy coming in, him and Bryce Brown were friends back in Philly. And I was just talking about Mike about this. I think that helps him become in the competition and maybe just, finding himself a little more, having a friend, feeling like the odd guy out last year, and then carrying the fumble, being known as a fumbler. Probably he really didn't fumble that much. He probably fumbled about 6 times in the last 3 years, on what he's carried. I remember, I don't remember the stats because I didn't write them down or remember them, but they said it's really not that.
It's not as bad as it looks.
It's bad, exactly.
It's not as bad as it looks.
But I think to follow who McCoy is, I think that's the guy on our team that's going to be able to back up that type of player. And looking for, like you said, the punishing running back, I think that can come from Boobie Dixon. I don't want to see Fred, but I told Mike this, about a week or so ago. I said, don't be surprised if Fred Jackson's not a Buffalo Bill coming in the beginning of the season. And I don't know what this new guy, Carlos, Carlos
Miller.
Miller?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know what his story is, but I don't know.
Practice squad material
squad
for depth, just in case someone gets hurt. Who
plays the middle linebacker?
Well, before we even get to middle linebacker, as far as Bryce Brown goes, it's not so much maybe the amount of times you fumble as when you fumble. Like in the Kansas City game last year, would have definitely thrusted us into a 10-6 season. And running in all by himself to the end zone and gets the ball knocked out from behind carelessly. I don't know. Maybe we should hire McNally. Flick the balls a little bit, and he can keep the grip a little bit.
There it is.
He was a Buffalo Bill
I'll
coach
overpay
before,
for
right?
that.
Yeah, he was with us before. Offensive
He was
line
offensive
coach.
lineman,
Yeah.
He really was?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came from the Giants to us.
That's
supposedly-
right. I totally forgot that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he was supposedly the best lineman.
Yeah.
He's the one I think helped develop Jason Peters
Yeah.
to become a left tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, he did a good job there. And, well, let's not talk about Andrew Peters. Sorry, wrong sport. Jason Peters. Let's not get into him. That's a whole can of worms there.
Yes, it surely is.
I wanted to talk about some EJ Manuel.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, we didn't do that yet, right?
No, we sure have not.
No, let's touch on EJ. And
I'd rather not touch on him, but we can talk about him.
Well, I think we're going to see a new and improved EJ Manuel this year. And here's why. He's been working with a guy I always thought was a good quarterback, Steve DeBerg. Obviously
Yes.
overshadowed by all the great quarterbacks in the late 80s and early 90s. You had so many like Young, Montana, Kelly, Elway, the whole class 83. But this guy was the master. Him and Boomer, maybe tied, Boomer Esiason, as the master play action. I mean, these guys would fool cameramen left and right. It was so fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, he's actually been working with EJ in the offseason and working on his mechanics, taking the wind-up out of his throw. His motion had a little bit of a wind-up there, so we kind of eliminated that. And what happened next was he worked on his accuracy. EJ said, my accuracy has improved a lot. So that should translate into some game day throws that are going to help us be more efficient on the field, get us some more first downs, hopefully some touchdowns. I think that's going to help EJ take that next step and maybe even steal the starting lineup here because he says, I got a clean slate. That's what Rex is saying. Everybody's got a clean slate. So I think EJ might impress some people this year. What do you think?
I think a lot of people say things to be politically correct.
You referring to clean slates?
It's referring to clean slates.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rex is keeping it very politically correct with that statement. He wasn't blind. He played against EJ 4 times. 3 times, I believe. 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's definitely seen the kid play.
Yeah.
He definitely knows about his inaccuracy issues. So he's definitely got his eye on him this year.
Well, they study him in film before they play him, so
Exactly.
he knows.
So he knows. Even if he's a little bit more accurate in hitting the pass and hitting the receiver, is he going through his progressions? You know, is he keeping his head up when the pressure's on top? When the pressure's on him?
I think that's coaching.
Some of it's fear. EJ's never been the same since he hurt his knee. I have not. I call it the Trent Edwards syndrome. I definitely
It's
do.
a
You know,
possibility.
yeah, and ever since that knee, he's hurt. Ever since he hurt that knee, he does not stay in the pocket long enough. Sometimes he gives up on the play too soon, where he can actually step up into the pocket. And when he does need to make the break out of the pocket, he puts his head down and he's running like a chicken with his head cut off. I'm not gonna lie. You know, he takes his eyes off of the receivers going down the field. You know, as many times you'll see when we're reviewing the plays that there's a receiver open. If he would just take that couple steps to the side with his head up and get it there. Because once he gets out of the pocket, that draws the linebackers in because he is a speedy receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But once he's keeping his eyes down like this, he's not seeing that open man. So it doesn't matter how accurate he is with the work of Steve DeBerg.
Mm-hmm.
If he hasn't worked on the other issues, then it's not going to be that significant of an improvement to award him the starting position.
It's a good point, and hopefully that can get corrected because as far as they've been saying is Greg Roman lets his staff coach. So the QB coach hopefully will be able to just do his thing and won't have everyone looking over his shoulder and say, all right, EJ, we're gonna work on you. We're gonna straighten out what you're doing wrong here, and hopefully it'll translate. Because EJ's a smart guy. I think he's a very coachable player that can listen to guys like that and hopefully correct his mistakes and knock our socks off. I hope so, man. Because I like EJ. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's got the tools.
I like EJ.
Yeah.
I give it to the man when he took the benching last year. Like a real man.
He did.
He did.
Classy.
And very classy. And more than that, he was on the sideline every game taking notes.
From a veteran.
And just sitting there on the sidelines, watching everything, dissecting everything. I truly hope that translates into some progress this year. I was very happy when they drafted him. I felt bad for the young man where he got thrusted into the starting job ahead of time and everything he had to go through since then. And I'm definitely not against EJ. You know, I'm just bringing to light the obvious. That being said, I still would like to see what Tyrod Taylor has to offer.
Yeah, that could be pretty entertaining.
That can be very entertaining. That's going to be the one when the preseason comes. I'm going to be looking at EJ, and I'm going to be looking at Tyrod.
Yep.
We already know what Castle got. He's an average run-of-the-mill Fitzpatrick / Orton /
insert
Dilfer.
Journeyman here.
Yeah, exactly, quarterback. So now that we've discussed that, what do you got?
Sure. Unless you have something to say about the anything more about the Bills there, Ralphie or
I'll
Carlos?
just maybe touch middle linebacker scenario that jumped in my head, but if we got time. I don't know who's starting. I know we lost Brandon Spikes.
Is that official?
He hasn't been signed yet.
He hasn't been signed, but it doesn't mean it's out of the question.
I know the unrestricted free agency scenarios came and left.
Yeah.
I heard he was visiting the Patriots.
Yeah,
boy.
But I don't believe he was signed yet by them.
I'd like to keep him. Nigel Bradham would be the next guy up.
Maybe Preston Brown.
Oh, Preston Brown.
Preston
right.
Brown.
Yeah,
I think that. But this is a 3-4 scenario they're going into.
that's true.
So we
Yeah,
have
that's
two.
why-
So it would be Bradham and maybe Brown.
Okay. I don't think we've talked about that since like the change of the defense and losing Brandon Spikes.
Well,
He's not on the team, so he's a lost person right now. So.
I just think that I really wish that the producers of this show would stop throwing in these trick questions in the middle that we haven't had time to prepare for. And, honestly, I didn't do too much homework on that this week, so I'm a little uneducated to make a real guess on it. I can't even lie on that. It's still. I think that's going to be something that's figured out in preseason and the mini camps.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, let's move on to our next segment. Something I like to call. Are you out of your mind?
I couldn't remember it.
That's all right.
It's our second week segment, everybody. So,
Yeah.
with everything going through the brain, I'm not that sharp anymore. More like
That's
a
all
butter
right.
knife than a Ginsu.
Well, here's a couple things we want to touch on here that's happened in the NFL this week or around the sporting world in general. One thing, I want to hit this one right off the get-go, is the Jets fans apparently gathered some of their own loot and bought a sign. I guess they put it on the Jersey Turnpike there. Basically making fun of Tom Brady. It says hashtag Tom Shady.
Are you out of your mind?
Are you
right
out
now?
of your mind? Come on. You pay all that money. You can't think of something more clever, something more entertaining, funnier than that? Come on. What are you, in second grade? Jets. Well, I'm telling you what. If I'm spending my hard money, I'm hiring a comedian, a comic, or somebody to come up with something much more clever than that.
You would think they would have something to do with deflate.
Tom Brady? More like Tom Shady. Ha.
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 Yeah, crickets. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. Boy, oh boy.
Where's the cricket noise back there?
No,
You're late.
Yeah, a little late on that. That's all right.
Next time. Next time.
Here's what else is crazy, and it just make you just scratch your head and wonder if you're out of your mind. So, basically, we're looking at McNally again.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, well, hey, why did you refer to yourself as Mr. What is the deflating guy? The guy,
The deflator.
The deflator. Why'd you say that?
Well, because I've been losing weight.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. You're quick on your feet, McNally.
Oh, yeah. You know what, McNally? Are you out of your mind?
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? I'm not buying that for $1.
I wouldn't even buy that for 50 cents.
Oh, man. I'll give you a bag of deflated footballs for that. How about that? Lastly, on our Are You Out of Your Mind segment, here's what we're going to touch on. What the heck was? Oh, yeah. So, you think the Jets fans are bad? Patriot fans. Patriot fans. What are you doing? Going to GoFundMe.com and raising money so that the $2 billion value, this is what the Patriots are worth, over $2 billion, can pay their $1 million fine from the NFL. That's a slap on the wrist, folks. But you know what? I guess they can't afford it because who's coming up with the money? The Patriot fans.
Patriot fans.
Are you out of your mind? Well, yeah, they
You know
must
what? I honestly have to give them credit for being such loyal fans.
Yeah.
You lie, and I got your back.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of years of cheating there, and the Boston Patriots, New England Patriots, everything they evolved through. A lot of bad years, and the Bills abused them too for a lot of years. We all saw it. So
Yeah.
I guess when you finally do get something good going your way, you better cling to it, no matter what it takes.
You gotta hold on tight.
Yeah, you gotta hold on tight to that. So that ends our segment of
Are you out of your mind?
I like it. All right. So, lastly, we're gonna hit this up.
What are we talking about here?
Some people think it's too early. They want to worry about baseball. They want to worry about the NBA and the hockey playoffs. I can understand that, but man, for us addicts, our fantasy football addiction never ends. So what are we going to talk about? Fantasy football, baby.
Fantasy who?
Fantasy football. Bobby Boucher, you done caught that gorilla punch your eye? I don't even know why that fit in there.
Oh. I think you need to say pickles on that one.
Pickles. I got pickles. Well, here we're gonna do a rundown. Mike, it's all right with you. Let's just talk about running backs this year. And if you had to take some running backs, how are you gonna rank your top 5 fantasy football running backs this year?
Oh Lord, running backs. That's gonna be a hard one. Let me see. You caught me a little bit unprepared.
You want me to go first? Give you a little time there?
No.
that's all right.
Let me just get to my page here.
Sure thing.
As far as running backs go here, they got Jamal Charles listed as number 1. I'm not going to agree with that too much. I think right now he's going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to be a little bit upset about the Super Bowl. And so I'm going to have to go with Marshawn Lynch for the number 1. Beast mode is going to be in full effect.
I like that because you know what? There's going to be some attention taken off him because who they got a tight end now? Jimmy Graham.
That's right.
That's right. That's more talent, more tools. You got Wilson running around. I think there's going to be less focus on Marshawn. He could have a better year.
Exactly. Number 2, I think I will go with Jamal Charles there.
Yeah.
Yes, he's definitely a strong, hard runner, and Kansas City does have a decent team.
Yeah.
I don't like to admit things like that, but they got a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
I know everybody from Buffalo wanted this guy to be number 1, but I have to be realistic with the line that Buffalo does have. Might have a little trouble busting up some holes for him. But with all the receivers that Buffalo has, it's going to create a lot of plays for LeSean McCoy.
Sean McCoy, okay.
Yes, definitely. Next, I'll go with Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
Le'Veon Bell is going to have another good season. And this is going to be my little wild card for right now. It's not even too much of a wild card, but Philly stacked up a lot. And so I think DeMarco Murray, who's currently ranked number 7, is going to slip into the top 5.
That, at the end of the season, that could very well happen. We all know he can run. He was running for the money when his contract was up, but is he going to lay on his laurels and just kind of ride it out? Is he not even going to fit into Chip Kelly's system? That's too much of a wild card that I want to bet on and put in my top 5. So I'm going to leave him out of the top 5. In the top 10, yeah, but I'm not going to gamble. Let somebody else take that gamble. Here's who I'm going to pick, okay? I got the first pick overall in the draft. I'm taking a running back. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm going Jamal Charles. That is something I know I'm getting. The guy's going to produce. If he's not healthy on the field, he's a top 2 back every year. So that's the safe bet. I'm going to go with the safe bet. It's too much of a, you got that early pick. You better get it right on the first pick overall. Number 2, I think I'm going to go with, where'd I put that? Le'Veon Bell. Then get me some Eddie Lacy at number 3. Okay. Here's one that people are going to be surprised by. Actually, before I jump to that, I got to pick my number 4. I apologize. I'm going to go Shady McCoy at number 4. I think he's going to get a lot more touches than Chip Kelly was giving him last year.
All right.
I think he's going to look like he did 2 years ago. And just because I'm ranking a 4, here's why. Because you don't know if he's going to be good or not. You know what I mean? You know there's a good chance he's going to be good, but it's a new system, it's a new team. He's going to get his feel for the teammates, and there's some question marks like you alluded to there. So I don't know if I'm going to go 1, 2, or 3 with McCoy, but I'm feeling good at number 4. Lastly, I think this is going to really make people say, Spencer, are you out of your mind? Number 5, I'm going to go C.J. Spiller, baby.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes, I am, baby. C.J. Spiller. And that Saints offense is going to really surprise some people. I think Reggie Bush had success there. All right. I think Darren Sproles, he had some success there as well. I think CJ's going to come in, and he's going to show what he's got. The Bills did not get to use him the way they wanted to. At least our offensive coordinator did not. But I think CJ is going to show the real CJ Spiller this year. Surprise some people out of their minds.
Couple bad ankle injuries, just coming off a broken collarbone. Saints' biggest weapon is no longer there. Are you out of your mind?
Are you out of your mind?
I don't mind being out of my mind at the 5th pick. I'm telling you what, he's really going to be a steal in the draft, whether you take him early or late. But I think he's going to be a safe bet to put up some really solid numbers this year. In fact, some really stud-like numbers. He's going to get passes thrown to him. He's going to get the ball running, and he's just going to put some moves on some guys to break their ankles instead.
I don't agree with you, but hey, that's not my team.
All right. Agree to disagree that you don't agree with me.
Agree to disagree, but I do not agree.
I'll agree that you agree with me.
I agree that my team is going to be better than yours.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode here, guys. We really appreciate you tuning in. Mike, got anything else?
Good night, Buffalo.
Stay classy. There we go. Wrap it up, boys.
All right.
That was fun.
How was that? How long was that one?
34